If you're going to take the speaking tests with any Escuela Oficial de Idiomas in Aragón for a C level, for a C1 or a C2 level, these are some ideas that might help you. As you know, the speaking test is made up of 3 parts. The first one is your mediation task, which is actually part of your mediation language activity. It's the grade you're going to get is added up to your mediation in writing task. So even if you take it today, the grade goes independently. And then for the speaking test, you have to deliver an individual presentation and then to have a conversation with a partner. That will be your interaction. We're going to focus now on the presentation. I tend to call it a presentation rather than a monologue, because a monologue reminds me of Hamlet. Okay, the idea is that even if you are sitting at a table with a teacher examining you, I would like you to pretend that you are standing, that perhaps you are in your office, or imagine that you have to deliver a public presentation, as I say, at work or even at uni. So imagine you're standing and you're addressing an audience. So I think that's a better comparison, or I would like you to think of this as more of a public presentation rather than somewhere where you're sitting, because that's going to help you organize the presentation. As any text, you need to have an introduction, a body, a development of your ideas, and then a conclusion. Sometimes students tend to just start speaking about the questions they're given, but I would say that it's much better if you say at least one sentence, only one sentence, that'll be enough, but something to actually introduce a topic. And you can say something like, in my presentation, I intend to speak about different aspects of work. I aim to discuss several aspects of work, or the subject of my presentation is work and its changing reality, or over the next 3 minutes I'm going to deal with different aspects of work, whatever. These are just some ideas. Remember that this verb in English does not mean the same as in Spanish, so I wouldn't use it in a presentation, and the verb discuss doesn't carry this preposition. You discuss a topic. So I would like to discuss the topic of whatever, but no preposition here. Then probably you're going to be given a set of questions. In 3 minutes, you will only be able to talk about 2 or 3, being realistic. So this is going to be the body of your presentation. So you need to start, then you're going to be moving on to other points. I'm going to give you some ideas of language you can use, okay? But you can use some of these expressions, it's fair to say, or the point I'm trying to make if you need to clarify things, or perhaps you can give examples. And instead of just saying, for example, or for instance, you can give the examples and say at the end, to mention but a few, or you can mention the examples and so on and so forth. And then finally, even if it's just one sentence, but again, your last 20 seconds need to be devoted to your conclusion, summarizing, wrapping up what you've been saying. So you can use some of these expressions. With this in mind, bearing all this in mind, all things considered, or in this presentation, I've tried to argue, or I've tried to demonstrate that. To conclude, again, these are some ideas. I'll give you some others a bit later. This is a sample task card for your speaking test. As you see, you will be given probably some 6-7 questions, but as I said, you will only be able to talk about 3, being realistic, okay? So you can choose the 3 you would like to discuss, and maybe you're going to start talking about this one first, this one, and then that one. You can't write on the task card, but you are given a separate piece of paper, so you can take notes there. And even if you have a blank piece of paper, you can organize it, just handwrite those lines. And this is just a graphic organizer which at least works for me. There is another video where I explain how to use this graphic organizer, so you can watch it if you want to, and you have the link here. Another link, this website contains lots of linking words and discourse markers, which are probably going to be very useful when you are preparing your speaking test, whether it's the presentation or even the interaction. So have a look, because you will probably find something you'll be able to use. Something you can do while you're preparing is to record yourselves. You will probably have questions that your teachers, or I will, if I'm your teacher, I will have given you questions to practice for this. So record yourselves and then check your performance against this checklist. These are the criteria that are going to be used to assess your performance. So have a look, because these are the aspects we're going to be bearing in mind. You can download it from here. Finally, if you want to listen to somehow what is expected of a presentation at C level, I have recorded this example of a presentation, this sample presentation about influencers. You have a link in here. You can download it from here, and you can just go to the description where you will find all the links that have been mentioned in this video. If you listen to it, just pay attention to the way it's organized, to the discourse markers used, and somehow to the range of grammar and vocabulary that I've tried to use to illustrate what is expected of a C-level presentation. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching.